Hey there, Stampers. Welcome to my mini catalog and celebration catalog countdown Facebook Lives. So every day leading up to the launch of these two catalogs, I will be going live sharing products. Some of my favorite products from these two catalogs. My name is Sherry Roth. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Alberta, Canada, and usually I do a Facebook Live on Fridays. However, because we've got some exciting new product being released, I thought it would be fun to do a daily live featuring some of my favorites. So I'm just updating my iPad here for some reason. Oh, here we go. All right. Okay, and if you are watching, whether it's live or the replay, make sure that you say hi so I know that you're watching and where you're from. Okay, so first of all, because these catalogs have not gone live, the only thing I can share is just the covers. I can't share the inside. So when I introduce the new product that I'm going to be using today, I will share the name of it and where you can find it in either of these catalogs. So you may want to pull these out because I'm pretty sure after I show you what we're doing today, you will want to add those to your wish list. All right. Okay. So I'm going to use a combination of product from both of these catalogs, and I'm going to try to do that each day because there's just so much to share. I could go on for many, many days, not just 5 days. Good morning, Shirley. Happy Thursday. Okay, so I'm going to share the products that I'm using today, which is kind of like an odd combination. I picked products from a variety of sweets and then a celebration set. Okay, so the stamp set that we're using is the Delicate Dahlias, and it is in the celebration brochure. You can find it on page 14, and this is something that you can earn beginning August 3rd until the end of September, free with a $120 purchase. Okay, so it's a level 2 celebration product, but it's so beautiful. You can see that it's got that, it's one of those stamp sets that I think it's called Distinctive, I believe. And it, like when you look at the image, it's so beautiful. It looks so realistic, and it is a 2-step stamp as well. And then it's got some great greetings in it. So we are actually going to make a sympathy card today. And then I've chosen another favorite. I love Kraft paper. We carried Kraft paper in a 12 by 12 years and years and years ago, and I still have some. It's one of those products that I never got rid of because I just really, really love the look of it. I love how the texture of it is just so fun. So I was really excited when I saw that they came back with it. It's 6 by 6, which is great for card making. You can use it in scrapbooking, but it's perfect for card making. So this you can find in the July to December mini catalog. It is part of the gingerbread and peppermint suite towards the beginning of the catalog. You'll find it on page 9. So this is something you'll definitely want to pick up if you don't have some left over from when we carried it in 12 by 12. And if you do, then you could do what we're doing today and just cut it down. The other thing that I'm using is the brushed metallic adhesive back dots. Now this is from another suite in the mini catalog. It is part of the Harvest Meadow suite on page 55. So you'll find these. We're going to incorporate those. And then this beautiful Blushing Bride Frayed Grosgrain ribbon. So this is, you can see, it's grosgrain in the center, and then it's almost got like a frayed kind of edge on both sides. It's so pretty. And I love the color Blushing Bride. So this is part of the Whimsy and Wonder suite on page 25. So there's a whole collection that goes along with this ribbon, a different collection that goes around these dots, and a different collection that goes around this Kraft paper. So I'm trying to show you guys that you can pick and choose product from a variety of suites or collections, and you can make them work together. You don't have to limit yourself to only using them with that collection. Okay, so let's set this stuff aside, and we're going to go ahead and get started. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to take a piece of Kraft paper. We're going to use the whole 6 by 6 piece, and I'm just going to bring in a scrap Okay, let me catch up on my hellos here. All right, good morning, Denise and Mary Liz and Sue and Kathy and Angela. Good morning, happy Thursday. Welcome to the first of my countdown Facebook Lives. Okay, so we are going to use this large dahlia image. Is it dahlia or dahlia? I think it's dahlia. I think I'm pronouncing it right. We're going to use that, and we're going to use some Versamark ink. We're going to emboss on this paper. I love this paper when it's stamped and embossed in white. Okay, now this paper has a fair bit of texture to it, so I do want to make sure that I get out any kind of oils or static or anything in it. So I'm going to use my embossing buddy and just give it a brush, just so my embossing powder only sticks where I want it to stick. Good morning, Christine. So now I've got my Versamark ink pad, and look at that, it's pretty new. Well, not very new, it's still a little dirty, but it's pretty good looking compared to some of my other pads. Oh my gosh, they get dirty so quickly. Okay, so I'm going to ink that up, and I'm going to stamp it down, and we're going to stamp all over the entire piece. Gingerbread and peppermint is definitely on Mary Liz's list. It's such a cute set. That whole thing, like it's one of those mega suites where it's got 2 bundles in it. Actually, no, it doesn't have 2 bundles. It's got 2 dies, but I don't think there's a stamp set that goes along with the second die set. There's a cute little pillow box die in there. But there's so many. There's the Kraft paper, there's ribbon, there's memories and more cards, there's memories and more cards and envelopes, there's these little cute little acrylic embellishments. What else is there? There's DSP, and then there's the bundle. There's so many things in that collection. It's really pretty. Just to give you guys a heads up, that is actually also the collection that we will be focusing on at our holiday extravaganza in October. So we've got our summer celebration extravaganza on the 21st of August. You can find all that information on my website under the events page. And then in October, we're going to have a holiday extravaganza, and that will be focused all on that gingerbread suite. Okay, so I'm just stamping all over. I'm making sure that some of my images are all on the page. Some of them are going off of the page. The reason why you want to do that is so that your paper looks like it was pre-printed like that and cut down to size. So we're going to cut this apart after we emboss it. And I'm going to use a big chunk of it today, but then you'll want to come back later next week because I've got a video that I'm going to share with what I'm going to do with the rest of the paper. So if you've been following me for a while, I don't like to waste, especially if you're going to all this effort to make this beautiful paper. You don't want to waste it. So I created a second project using the leftover bits. Okay, good morning, Kim. We are just taking the Delicate Dahlias stamp set, and we are stamping all over a piece of 6x6 Kraft paper. Both of these products will be available on beginning August 3rd. Okay, so we've got that. Let me set this aside. Now I've got my white embossing powder, and I'm going to sprinkle it all over and then dump it off and then rotate. Okay. All right, tap off the excess, and I got a couple little spots here that I've missed. Now my house phone's ringing. Okay, there we go. So look how pretty that looks, just like that. Let's dump this back in and clean up, and then I'll show you the next step here. Okay, I've got powder all over my table. So let me just grab a baby wipe here and just wipe this up. Okay, so now in my new setup here in my Kraft space, unfortunately, I don't have a plugin that will allow me to heat set unless I have a really long extension cord, and I could not find an extension cord this morning. So I went ahead and I've used my heat tool and I heat up another one. So I've got a second one here, but I wanted to show you guys the difference between before it's heat set, and I'm hoping this shows up on camera. So it looks good before it's heat set, but then when you heat set it, it really makes that white pop off of that, that Kraft background. It looks so pretty. Yeah, you can see it pretty well on camera. So we're going to use this one. I'm just going to set this aside, and then after I'm done my live, I'll go over and I'll heat set that. Okay, so now we've got our background done. We're going to trim this down. So I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer, and I'm going to cut. I'm going to cut at 4 inches, and I want to make this cut first because I'm going to cut it down so it's 4 and 5 1/4, and I'm going to do the 4-inch cut first because then that will give me a 2-inch by 5 or 2-inch by 6-inch strip. So it'll give me a nice long strip to work with on a different project. Okay, so this one we're not going to end up using today, but like I said, I'll share a project next week, and we'll be using this piece. Okay. Good morning, Michelle from Newfoundland. What's the weather like in Newfoundland today? Okay, and then I'm going to turn this around and I'm going to cut it at 5 1/4. So we've got a 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece. This piece we're going to set aside, and we're going to use this piece on our project. So it doesn't really matter. I think we're going to use it this way. Okay. And then we'll grab our card base. So I'm using a thick basic white card base. This one measures 4 1/4 by 11 inches, scored at 5 1/2 inches. So it's just a standard size card base. And I'm going to go ahead and stick this down the center. Now you can see that this is kind of curled. My package actually came, I don't know if it was because of the way it was in the box, but my whole package is a little bit curled. I just need to stick a heavy book or something on there so that I can flatten that back out. But I mean, it's not a big issue. All you need to do is just make sure that you put a fair bit of adhesive and do adhesive all the way around. Sunny, humid, 24 degrees. Nice. My sister-in-law and niece are actually in Newfoundland right now. My sister-in-law is from Newfoundland, and so her and my niece went to visit her family. They live in Halifax, though. Okay, so see how that sits quite nicely when you put adhesive all the way around? So we've got that done. Now we're going to do some stamping. So I've got a 3x3 piece of white cardstock, and I'm going to clean my dahlia. Good afternoon or good morning, Amy. Okay, so I'm going to clean that so it doesn't have Versamark on it, and I'm going to bring in my Blushing Bride, and I'm going to stamp this down. I'm going to grab my Stampin' Pierce mat. Because this is photopolymer, this outline image isn't really an issue. You could do that without your Stampin' Pierce mat. But the solid image, I do recommend that you have that so you get a nice good impression. Okay, so we're going to stamp that right in the middle. Look how pretty that is. So you can use that as is, just like we did here, or it is a 2-step stamp. So you can take this and you can stamp and add a little bit of color in it. Okay, so it took me a while to figure out how to line this up. So I'm going to share what I learned from you. There is this one wonky, well, I call it wonky just because it stands out a little bit. It kind of looks like a banana shaped leaf right here. So if you use that as your starting point and then you flip it over, there is a like kind of a banana shaped leaf up here. So ink that up and then use that as your starting point to line it up. I'm going to stamp off because I want it to be quite light and I need to stand up for this. Get over top. So I'm lining up that banana shaped leaf or petal with this, and then I'm just kind of looking around to make sure. I got to get it closer to me so I'm right over top. Okay, I say that and now that's not working. Do I have the wrong one? No, I'm sure this is the right one. Oh, I just didn't have it rotated the right way. Okay, so you want to make sure that you line up several different petals. Okay. I think that looks pretty close. Okay, and then look how beautiful. And you can see by the way I stamped it here, like even just stamping that one alone, it looks so pretty and would make a great background on a project. So see how it just adding that color just steps it up just a little bit. It's so pretty. Okay, so while we've got our stamp out, we're going to stamp our envelope. So I'm going to take do the same thing. Take my outline image first. Now, because I'll be stamping a portion off and a portion on that banana shaped petal, I want to make sure I stamp it on my envelope so I can use that as my starting point. Mary Liz says, could you put a small Sharpie dot on the block side of the stamp? You can if you're going to leave it on this block, right? Or actually what you probably could do is you could put, because the rubber is raised right here and there's a little bit that's recessed, you could probably put a Sharpie dot right here to remind you that that's where it is. And then you could probably do the same thing on this. That's actually a good suggestion, Mary Liz. That's a great suggestion. Because then you don't have to look every time. It just serves as a reminder. Okay, so we'll stamp off and then line these guys up. I'm getting some shadow from my lights here. Hopefully this is okay. Oh, on the block side of the photopolymer, so underneath. Okay, so Mary Liz is suggesting underneath this, like right on this side of the rubber, putting a little mark so that you can see it. Yeah, I think that would work. Okay, so we've got our envelope stamped. We don't need this anymore. Let's move this guy out of the way. Okay, now I have gone ahead and I have fussy cut this. So there isn't a die for this. What you could do if you don't like to fussy cut, you could cut a circle. So I took my, excuse me, my layering circles dies and I cut the largest circle from vellum, and this is going to serve as a little kind of like I just want to mute the background behind my flower just a little bit. But if you don't like to fussy cut, you could take that die and you could cut that out, right? So just cut it out with that circle die and that would replace that. Okay, so there's a little solution for you. Excuse me. Okay, so I'm going to take this. I'm going to just trim a little bit off so that I have a straight edge. Move that guy out of the way. And then the other thing that I did was I took still one of my favorite die sets, the scallop contour dies. I took this beautiful wide scallop border and I cut that from a 1 by 5.5 inch piece of Blushing Bride. And this is going to go down like this. This is going to go over top. So I'm just going to take my seal adhesive. Actually, this one is Seal Plus because I need a refill for the other one and I just haven't grabbed one yet. Okay, so I'm going to stick that down, and then, so the reason why I cut the bottom of the circle off is just so that it wouldn't stick down past the border. And then we're going to add adhesive all the way across. And we'll just make sure that this is straight. I think that looks good. Okay, and then we're going to bring in our ribbon, and we are going to cut about a 5-inch piece of ribbon. We're going to fold it in half. And another thing I love about this ribbon is it's pretty much exactly the same on both sides. So there's no right or wrong side. And this is going to go on here like this. So I'm going to use a little bit of my Seal Plus, stick that down like that. And then we're going to add some dimensionals to the back of this guy. So I'm going to figure out which way I want it to go. I don't think it really matters. It looks good. Doesn't matter whatever position. So I'm going to put my finger kind of where my ribbon is going to go, so I know to put dimensionals around that. Is your craft room all done, Mary Liz? Do you have everything all organized now? Good morning, Kim. I'm finally getting into the groove of working in my new space. It has taken me a lot longer than I thought. This week has finally been my first very productive week since we've moved out of our old place. So I've been struggling kind of keeping up, and you guys, those of you who follow my VIP page and who follow me regularly, you've probably noticed how things have not been consistent. It's because I've been so far behind on so many things. I just feel like I'm constantly playing catch up. But I'm finally feeling like things are coming along and I can breathe. So feeling pretty good. I think it also helped that my husband went back to work in his office full time this week as well. And even though he has his own office upstairs, for some reason, I'm more productive when he's not at home. Okay, so I'm taking my greeting. I'm using this Sending Heartfelt Sympathy and some Memento ink, and I stamped that right onto a circle, and that circle is the second smallest from the Layering Circles dies. So the same circle dies that I used for the largest one. And now I'm going to take a little bit of white baker's twine and tie a bow. Oh, it's so good to get organized. Well, I'm glad that you're still looking forward to crafting even though your craft space isn't done, and that you are still crafting even though your space isn't done. But won't it be good when it is? It all takes time though. It'll be worth it in the end. Okay, so this is going to go on here with a little mini glue dot, and then this is going to sit on top. So I'm going to grab a glue dot and just going to stick it. I don't want to stick it on top of the flower because I don't want to add additional bulk. So I'm kind of sticking it in between two petals here. And then that way the knot is under the bulk. And then this guy's going to go over top. So you just see a little bit of the white kind of peeking out. I'm going to use a little bit of flat adhesive here, and then a dimensional, or a piece of a dimensional right under here. So if you guys are watching and you live in Canada and don't yet have the mini catalogs, so whether the July to December mini catalog or the celebration brochure, and you would like a hard copy and don't already have a demonstrator, then just send me a message. I'm happy to pop one in the mail for you. Okay, stick that down. Why is that? It's not quite working out. I don't have my dimensional in the right spot. Okay, let's move this down. We don't want to create added bulk. We want it to sit flat. Okay, so I'm just going to make sure that my greeting is straight. There we go, that sits better. So we have a little bit of that ribbon peeking out. And then the last thing, you know what, that's still popping up. I'm going to use a little mini glue dot. Let's grab one. Just to stick this layer down, peel off the backing. There we go. Okay, just wasn't sitting quite right. Okay, the last thing, we're going to finish this off with some of these brushed metallic adhesive dots. You know, Shirley, it's because in a normal year, during a normal year, it will be the July to December mini catalog. It's just because of COVID and the delays in deliveries and things like that, they had to postpone it starting to August. And because the catalogs were already in the printing process, they couldn't change the name. So that's why. But next year, hopefully things will all be back to normal, and it will actually be July to December that the catalog is effective. Okay, so I'm taking some of these, I think they're almost like a copper color, which kind of has that pink undertone. So I'm just going to take a couple of these and add them to the front for just a little bit of bling. So there's the front of my card. This guy is still not, might have to add another mini glue dot under there. Okay. And then remember this piece that we had left? I'm going to take this piece and add it to the inside. Thank you, Sue. Kim says she likes the way I tied the ribbon and twine. Yeah, I love there's so much texture on this card. So we just add a little bit of that crumb cake on the inside. So we've got the texture from the ribbon, not only the grosgrain, but then the ruffled edge. Like there's, even just on this piece of ribbon alone, there's a couple different types of texture. I just love how it's almost like it's fluffy. I love this ribbon, love it. So we've got that, we've got the texture of the linen thread. The texture on the paper is different than the other paper that we've used, and then we've got that soft bit of vellum, and then you've got that little bit of shimmer from the dots. So much texture on this card, and so many different products from different collections that we kind of incorporated to make this beautiful card. So I hope you guys liked that. Like I said, I will be going live every day. So right through the long weekend, I will be live. I'm going to try to be consistent at 11 a.m. Tomorrow I might be a couple late. So I have a couple minutes late. I have an appointment in the morning, but I'm hoping I can get back in time to go live at 11 for you. So I'll have another project tomorrow and then another one Saturday, Sunday, Monday, all the way leading up to the release of the catalogs. And each day I'll be featuring some of my favorites throughout both of the catalogs. All right, so thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to post them below and I will respond to them. All right, take care. Bye, guys.